All right, Puentistas, let's go ahead and try this again. If you're watching this video, hopefully you can hear me better. I know that we were having some microphone issues. It looks like my internet is just not holding up these days. So that's why I'm doing this video. I wanted to go ahead and just go over some of the things with you here. I wanted to go ahead and turn to the agenda first. The first thing we started with was yesterday's quiz. I wanted to thank Miguel Angel for notifying me that the quiz was marking many answers as wrong. Um, the first question was basically the entire quiz, and then there was like a point or two for some of the questions after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to your quiz and I'm going to add those 15 points to your score by the end of today, Friday. That means that if you got a 5, then that means that you'll be receiving that 5 plus the 15 so that your score ends up being a 20. And that is the maximum score as well. If you got a 2, then that's 2 plus 15, which makes it a 17. That's still a pretty good score. Okay. Again, I'm going to do my best to update that by the end of today, Friday. Okay. Moving on to our second item on the agenda, I wanted to thank you guys for completing that survey for me. I did get many responses, and I used those responses to talk to Miss Velo. And after talking to her, it was decided that she would focus on those items that were on the responses from you guys. I think most of you had questions about what next year might look like. And so she plans to go over that on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Again, it should be open to you and your parents. If you all can log into the Zoom meeting at 5 p.m., that would be great. Okay? If for whatever reason, though, you cannot attend, I need to see that in writing. I need an email from you. I will be marking you down for attendance. And so I need to make sure that I know where you're at or why you can't make it. Okay. Moving along here to the third item, I wanted to share a draft. It's not an official calendar yet. That means I can still make a few changes to it, but I wanted to go ahead and share what the next couple of weeks will look like. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over here. The idea here is that I wanted to modify our upcoming week a little bit. This is the week of Monday, the 18th. As you can see, Monday through Thursday, we're starting with a morning page. Now, please know that this Monday morning page is going to be a little different. I want to know a little bit more about your distance learning experience. In other words, what has worked, what hasn't worked, what has been easy to do, what's been challenging to do. I want you to reflect a little bit on what your experience has been like over the past 5 to 6 weeks now. In addition, I'd like to see 5 questions for Miss Velo. These can be your questions, these can be your parents' questions, or it can be any combination of your parents' questions. In short, I want to see something to kind of share with Miss Velo a little bit before the actual meeting on Tuesday. So if I can collect that on Monday, she can be more prepared to address some of or most of, hopefully, your needs for that Tuesday meeting. Okay. I will also be posting the link to that Zoom meeting here on the finalized version of the calendar. Okay. Now, if we look at the rest of the week, you'll see that we have a couple of different items. We no longer have scenarios. We no longer have slides. We no longer have quizzes. And I feel like we need a little bit of a break given that we've been doing scenarios and slides and quizzes for the past 5 weeks now. I think now we need to kind of see where we're at with things. And so that's why I asked on your quiz yesterday, what would you like to see for your final exam? And for this one, it was a little even. as far as the essay or the actual slides. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up throughout the week. The idea here is that on Monday and Tuesday, we'll be focusing on fallacies through the slides that students submitted. In other words, I'm going to go ahead and take a screen cap of student slides. I'm going to show you the example that they gave, and I'm going to show you what they provided as their explanation for it. Then you have to go through and determine if that is actually what is being shown or if the student did a good job with it, right? Is the student actually showing that they understand the fallacy? If so, how and why? If not, how and why? Okay. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to break up the fallacies between the first 10 and the second 10. And so that way we can do 10 on Monday. You'll know your score there. We'll do 10 more on Tuesday, and you should know your score there. Okay. Now, the Wednesday and Thursday, those 2 days will be used to focus on the essay piece. For this essay, I'm going to ask you to analyze a piece of writing. This is a piece of writing that I'm going to find for you. And out of the 3 that I find, I'm only going to ask you to choose one. I'm going to ask you to focus on that one piece, and I need you to go through it and analyze it. I need you to find different logical fallacies within those articles, okay? I know the word essay can be a little scary, but I think for this one, when I say essay, I'm really only looking for one strong body paragraph. Okay? When I'm talking about a strong body paragraph, I'm thinking about your topic sentence, your concrete detail, or your quote. Then I need your 2 sentences of commentary. Those 2 sentences are your this quote shows that, your this quote means that. Okay. After that, I need a second quote or second quote or concrete detail. And then I need 2 more sentences of commentary. This quote shows, this quote means. Okay. And in that sense, you can start to apply the logical fallacies that you learned about over the past several weeks to a new piece of writing. Okay. I know that sometimes it's a little difficult to get started, and that's why on Wednesday from 12 to 1, I'm holding kind of like my office hours / my writing group time. That means that at this time, I will be posting a link for Zoom for students who need a little help or guidance in getting started. This is not a mandatory class meeting. This is a recommended class meeting. In other words, if you know that you might need a little more support in completing the persuasive essay assignment that's due Thursday, I highly recommend, I highly encourage you to go ahead and stop by from 12 to 1. Okay, I will be starting at 12. Hopefully, my internet is good to go by then. And if not, I might just need to prep some materials in advance, perhaps another video like this one. But in any case, that time will be used to kind of go over what the expectations are of the persuasive essay and what I'd like to see for that. Okay. Again, this is a recommended Zoom session, not a required one. Okay. Now, moving along, I wanted to share the remaining weeks of class with you. We do have about 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, I believe. I think there's one that I just haven't finalized yet, but I do want us to finish up that bad arguments in this upcoming week with those 2 exams. And then after that, we need to go ahead and continue working with our portfolios. Okay. For our portfolios, Puentistas, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 portfolio work days, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday will be a writer's workshop day. And then Thursday can be a work day / due day. Okay. That means that by the end of each week, we would have worked on 1 to 2 essays or pieces for the portfolio. The goal is to try to make it look like as much as it can as the one last year. And so I know that the baseline essay, for example, I know that one's still at Hayward High. We'll just have to include that one when we come back next year. Okay. All of this work will be done digitally this year, similar to kind of how we did it last year. But one major difference, however, will be the fact that I will be placing you in groups of 3 or 4. Okay. And that's where Wednesday is really important. Wednesday will be a writer's workshop day. I'm going to ask for you guys to coordinate amongst yourselves as a group. And I'm going to ask you to work together, either through Zoom or Google Docs, any combination, so that you guys can revise each other's work. Now notice, Monday and Tuesday are work days. Wednesday should be your revision day. In other words, I need you to go through your classmates' work, and I need to see comments on everything. That also means that you will need to kind of post a link to your ongoing portfolio, and I will be providing the page to do that. Very similar to last year. The idea again is to share the work with everyone so that we have access to leave comments and review each other's work. Okay. We will be following this structure for the following weeks after that as well, so that you have a couple of portfolio work days and then your revision day on Wednesday. Your due day will be that Thursday. And then Friday, we'll do a check-in. Hopefully, again, my internet is not as bad as it was today, but we'll be doing about 30 minutes of Zoom sessions on our Fridays. Okay. Now, the one thing that I haven't touched on yet is our Monday and Wednesday. One of the things that I think is important for us to do besides practicing or writing is to also kind of make sure that we have some choices. And so I'm setting up like a little bingo sheet. This is an online sheet that has different activities that you can choose from. And the goal here is for Puente Bingo Activity Day, I will be asking you to choose one activity to do. Now, for those activities, it can be something based on reading, something based on writing. It can be some kind of organizational thing, or it can be a cultural thing. And so ultimately, you as a student will have a choice. Some of the things for the bingo activities will include things like watching a TED Talk and doing a short reflection on it. Another activity can be something like learning a recipe from a family member or relative and then trying your best to complete it. And yes, that means that I need to see a picture of it too, so that you can share it with me. One other activity that I have is, sometimes it's important for us to organize our Google Classroom, our Google Drive files. And so there is one activity that allows you to show me like the before and after of your Google Drive files. In other words, it's an organizational thing, right? Sometimes we just need to take care of those kinds of things, because if we don't, then things just get messy. I know my Google Drive is pretty messy. If sorting digital files is just not your thing, and you really rather just kind of clean up around your room or the house, that is also another activity that's on there. As you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can do. I will be posting that when the time comes so that you have a better idea of what's available. But I just wanted to give you a quick sample of that so that you can have that in mind. We'll be doing 2 Puente Bingos a week. That's your Monday, that's your Wednesday. That way we kind of get up and we get moving, and we're not just typing and sitting in front of a computer all day. Okay. That means that we're also kind of limiting or reducing our morning pages. So we'll only be doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. In total, it looks like we'll have about 7 or 8 total Puente Bingo activities. That means we have about 7 or 8 more morning pages to go. And then we'll be doing 1 to 2 essay for our 1 to 2 essays per week for our portfolio. We should hit about 5 or 6 different pieces when we're done with the remaining weeks of school. If we're able to do all of that, then we can go ahead and by that final week of school in June, we can just go ahead and conclude the school year. I know that this year has been it's been very challenging, Puentistas, but I wanted to just thank you guys for continuing to be patient, for being supportive, for showing up to the Zoom meetings, even on days like today where the microphone, the internet is just not working out. I also wanted to thank you guys for responding to that quiz for me. Um, the responses on the quiz were really helpful for me because they give me a chance to kind of see where you're at with things, and it's always good to kind of reconnect on that level. Okay, and so I'm gonna go ahead and conclude our video here. If you have any questions, if my microphone sounds awful, or if something just didn't quite make sense to you, please go ahead, shoot me an email message, reach out. Do not be shy. Let me know what I can do for you, and then that way we can complete this school year together. I wanted to thank you one more time, Puentistas, for tuning in. If you have any more questions, please reach out. If not, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye.